Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to Terror Talk, where I discuss creepy clips online. Just to set up clear expectations, this is a commentary channel on scary stories and weird stuff. So, if commentaries are a thing, you're in the right place. The original horror music at the end of my videos was composed by me. Now, let's get into it and have some fun.
In 1928, 9-year-old Walter Collins disappeared from his home in Los Angeles. His mother, Christine Collins, had given him a few coins to go see a movie while she was working. He never came home. Christine went to the police, who launched a search. His case quickly made headlines. This was during a time of rising fears about crime and child abductions, and public pressure on the LAPD was intense. For 5 months, Christine kept the search alive. She printed flyers, organized searches, gave interviews. Then, in August, police in Illinois picked up a boy who claimed to be Walter. He was brought to Los Angeles to be reunited with Christine in front of reporters. But as the cameras flashed and police beamed with pride, thinking they had solved the case, when Christine saw the boy, she said, "That's not my son."
Can you imagine how horrible it would be just to have your kid go off to the movies? And this was back a long time ago. So definitely things were a lot different back then. But could you imagine them just like not coming home ever and then, finally thinking that your son has been found and then realizing that it's not him, like how painful that would be? Like that would be pretty crazy for that to happen to anyone. And I don't think I ever want kids of my own. I said that in the last video, but yeah, I mean, man, I just couldn't imagine having something like that happen and not ever knowing what happened to them because I don't think that's something that any parent could get over, honestly.
The police told her she was wrong. They insisted he had changed from the trauma. They encouraged her to take him home on a trial basis. Christine reluctantly agreed, likely pressured by the public scene. But after just 3 weeks, she returned to the LAPD and again said, "This is not my son." This time, the police had her committed to a psychiatric hospital, claiming she was hysterical and refusing to accept reality. Meanwhile, the boy admitted that he wasn't Walter. His real name was Arthur Hutchins, a runaway who had been pretending to be Walter Collins to get a free trip to California. He thought it might help him to meet his favorite actors. So that meant the police had publicly reunited a grieving mother with a random child, and then punished her when she didn't go along with the lie. That should have been the end of the story, but it gets darker. Around the same time, a Canadian man named Gordon Northcott was arrested for a string of murders on a chicken farm in Wineville, California. He had lured young boys to his property, imprisoned them, and eventually killed them. When authorities raided the farm, they found evidence linking Northcott to multiple victims. One of those victims, they believed, was Walter Collins. Christine pleaded for answers, but Northcott never gave a clear confession. He was convicted for other murders, but the fate of Walter Collins remained unresolved. Christine spent the rest of her life trying to find out what happened. She never gave up. The city of Los Angeles never formally apologized for what they did to her, for locking her away when she refused to accept a lie. The story later inspired the film Changeling with Angelina Jolie, but the real horror is how it actually happened. A grieving mother gaslit by the system, a lost child exploited for headlines, and a police force more interested in good press than truth.
Have you ever seen that story Changeling? I haven't, and or that movie I should say, but it looks interesting and this is definitely an interesting story um about how the public is more concerned about its appearance than the actual well-being of the mother in this story. And it's kind of crazy how that they committed her, isn't it? Because yeah, I mean, just imagine being committed, when you're actually sane and you know that your reality is accurate, but you're committed anyways just because the public is an asshole and it cares about more about its appearance than actually taking care of the mother. And so this is definitely a crazy story. And, there are a lot of sick people in that world, like that guy that was like killing all the all the boys on that chicken farm. Like, a lot of crazy stuff goes on in this world, but definitely a really creepy story. I really enjoyed it. And it kind of makes me want to watch that movie Changeling, honestly. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen that movie. But yeah, let's watch this story now. The fourth story.
In August of 2008, a 24-year-old Canadian woman named Kayla Reed vanished from a small town in British Columbia. She had recently moved back in with her parents after going through a rough breakup and was trying to start over. One evening, she told her mother she was going to meet a friend at a coffee shop nearby. She left around 7:30 p.m., wearing a light hoodie and jeans, carrying her phone but no purse. She never showed up for that meeting. Her phone went dark less than an hour later. What followed was an immediate and massive local search. Flyers went up, and volunteers swarmed the forested areas around town. Search dogs found nothing, and there was no sign of foul play. No dropped phone, no torn clothing, no surveillance footage.
So wait, less than an hour later, there's already a massive search? Because I thought that you had to wait at least 24 hours, or the police had to wait at least 24 hours before they could authorize a local search. So I guess I'm a little confused. Let me know if you understand something I don't in the comments. But yeah, I just don't understand that, because an hour and everyone's already wigging out like that doesn't really make sense to me unless there's something I'm not understanding.
It seemed Kayla had completely vanished. As expected, her parents were devastated. Kayla was described as responsible and grounded, not the kind of person to run off without telling anyone. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Eventually, the case went cold. But then, a full year later, something happened. Kayla showed up. In the early morning hours of July 5th, 2009, she walked into a hospital nearly 200 miles from where she disappeared. She was disoriented, dehydrated, and barefoot. She was also noticeably thinner, sunburned, and wearing clothes that didn't belong to her. She refused to speak to doctors. She simply wrote her name down on a piece of paper. The hospital staff called police, and after fingerprint confirmation, it was officially her. She had been missing for 11 months. Her parents, of course, rushed to see her, but even then, Kayla said almost nothing. She stared at them blankly, occasionally smiling, but she didn't hug them. When they asked where she had been, she said only, "I was in the dark. I was safe, but it wasn't me." Authorities were baffled. She had no visible injuries or signs of abuse. Toxicology came back clean. She had no head trauma, no signs of having been drugged long-term, no tattoos or branding or anything that would suggest organized abduction. She spent a week in the hospital under psychiatric observation, and then she was quietly released to her family. No charges were filed and no statements were ever made. Kayla never spoke publicly about where she had been. She deleted all her social media accounts and moved away within a year. Reporters tried to follow up, but her family refused all interviews. The case was officially closed, a missing person who returned, but no one ever got the answers they were looking for. Just a young woman who came back from somewhere completely changed. She wasn't hurt or injured, but she was different. One nurse from the hospital said that in her last shift before Kayla was discharged, the girl looked her dead in the eyes and whispered, "Don't go into the woods alone. They find you there." No one knows what she meant, but no one who worked that case ever forgot it.
Wow, that's actually a really cool story. And the fact that she came back, a lot of the time that doesn't happen. And yeah, don't go into the woods alone. They'll find you, or whatever that was. That's pretty creepy. And also what she said before about, you know, I was in the dark, I was safe, but it wasn't me. That's pretty crazy too, huh? Like, what do you think could have possibly been meant by that? And it honestly does sound like an abduction thing, honestly. Like, maybe she was abducted for 11 months and finally found a way to escape. But it's kind of crazy what people will do just to survive, isn't it? And I just thought this was a really creepy story, or a couple of creepy stories. And I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.